Time to go to work for the 2010 FIVB World Championships. An overflow crowd at Palolotomatica, and should tell you that earlier this evening, if you're just joining us, Serbia defeated Italy to take home the bronze medal 3-1. Cuba defeated Serbia last night in the semifinals 3-2, 16-14 in the fifth, while Brazil was dispatching Italy 3-1. First serve, Murillo, Brazil in yellow. And that's going to be a net violation, a setting mistake. Way too early to see if it's a sign of any nerves. Fernando Hernandez violating the center line. That's a dangerous play. Wow, Hernandez way under the center line. That's when players get hurt. Raidel Yarasuelo, the setter wearing number 14 in blue for Cuba. Absolutely one of the key performers against Serbia. And should point out that is the second straight very, very tight 5-set match win for Cuba. They defeated Bulgaria 3-2 in order to advance to the Final Four, and as previously mentioned, defeated Serbia 3-2 to get into this gold medal match. Vizotto high off the block and down. Vizotto has played for Trentino here in Italy, one of the top performers throughout the course of the last several years. And among the leading scorers so far in this tournament, that is his 98th point overall. That ball tipped over the block by Simone. Robert Landi Simone, 23 years of age, a very young captain for this talented and very athletic Cuban team. 2 meters, 6 centimeters, only 23. Joandri Leal, number 4 in blue, only 21. Make it 22 now. We'll go back to serve. Dante with a tip to the floor. Very loud in here, so it's difficult to hear the whistle at times, but no question that ball had gotten successfully to the ground. From a technical point of view, I think Brazil has a big advantage. Their service receive is much more consistent. That's an area where, if you're watching at home, you really have to watch and see what Cuba does as this match goes along. See that pass well off the net, so the offense very predictable. Mario with a great save. Hernandez stuffed by Dante. Excellent work by Dante on the outside, closing the hole. And you're not used to seeing Bernardinho sitting on the sidelines, but we'll get a shot, I'm sure, later on. He ruptured his Achilles tendon 7 weeks ago, had surgery 6 weeks ago, is wearing a boot and on crutches. Ace serve by Vizotto. What a start for Brazil, already up 5-2. Right in the deep cross-court corner. Fernando Hernandez is the diagonal, not one of the passers, so he's just trying to get out of the way. Very well done by Vizotto. Passing trouble already for Cuba. Their reception has to settle down. And once Brazil gets rolling, they're one of the best serving teams in the world. They all have very dangerous serves of one form or another. Timeout taken by Cuba, trailing 6-2. Well, the teams are in their respective huddles. We'll take you through Cuba's journey throughout Italy and here into the finals. They beat Spain 3-2, beat Tunisia easily, also defeated Brazil as mentioned, lost to Serbia, bounced back, defeated Mexico, Spain 3-1, and then the two thrillers over Bulgaria and Serbia. Bisotto once again. And Raidel Yarasuelo have to be aware. He is left-handed. So as that ball is coming up towards the net, this is a very natural and easy play for him to make. Yarasuelo, again, I thought he was among many one of the keys absolutely for Cuba's win over Serbia. 16-14 in the fifth. Simone with a service error into the top of the tape. So a rocky start for Orlando Samuel's young Cuban team. That's a foot fault. Ace serve is called, but the linesman missed a foot fault that time by Dante. And instead, that gets Brazil to the 8-3 lead and the first technical timeout. It's all Brazil early on, but still very early. Jiba number 7, the most valuable player at the 2004 Olympics and 2006 World Championships, now playing as a reserve, but playing a very vital role. Unusual for a player who has accomplished what he has to take a smaller role on such a big and public situation with respect to the quality and all the success of this team, and still be so positive with even a smaller role. Huge serve by Dante. Leon is stuffed on the outside by Bruno. This is a rout so far. This is Brazilian volleyball. Serving tough, siding out easily, taking advantage of your opponent's mistakes. Over the top, nicely done by Leon. Wilfredo Leon, number 1 in blue. A wing spiker, only 17 years of age, just turned 17 on July 31st. He was the best server at the World League Finals in 2009. Made his international debut as a 14-year-old. Bisotto hits that ball out of bounds, no touch detected. One of the ways Cuba can get back in this match, they have to pass, of course, but they blocked exceptionally well against Serbia. They had 17 blocks in those 5 sets to Serbia's only 8. Murillo off of Hernandez and out of bounds. That's really bad blocking technique by Hernandez, waving his hands around behind his head. Got to press over the net. Trust your defense behind you. Out of bounds. Osmani Camejo, the middle blocker for Cuba with the unforced error. That ball not even close. Cuba rolling up 11-5 in the Brazil rolling up 11-5 in the opening set. That ball just out of bounds. So this can just steamroll if you're Brazil, because you're siding out so easily and scoring. Wow, that was awfully close. Wow, that was really close. And with this big lead and all the momentum, you can just go back and unload from the service line. Bruno back to serve, playing at maybe 50-60%. Very sore left foot and ankle. Therapy all day long. Whatever pain medication is allowed, I'm sure he's taken. And mentally, he looks right into this match from the very beginning. Point in possession to Cuba, thanks to the kill on the outside, this time by Joandre Leal. Vizotto is stuffed. First block for Robertlandi Simon, the captain for Cuba, wearing number 13 in blue. Mentioned that he was one of the best blockers in the tournament. That is his 40th kill block so far in this tournament. Actually, Hernandez got a piece of that. Vizotto again over the top into the deep cross-court corner. Cuba's got to relax and dig in. Murillo, a very dangerous serve. All Brazil so far, leading in this best 3 out of 5 set match, 13-8. Oh, that's nicely done by Yarasuelo. Taking a less than perfect pass, but still having a lot of options out there, and good hard work by Robertlandi Simon to following all the way over to the left side and making himself available. Oh, look at that tip to the floor. Cuba absolutely went to sleep. That ball should never hit the floor. Bruno worked hard to get in position. Rodriguez just tapping down. Well, everybody sitting around the campfire. Hernandez down the line. That ball called out of bounds. Overruled by Umit Sokolu. And a good overrule indeed. Rodriguez back to serve. Brazil leading 15-9, opening set. Oh, brilliant set by Yarasuelo. Really did a good job bringing back a very tight pass into a hittable situation. Yarasuelo, a pretty good size setter at 196. Vizotto high off the block and away from the Cuban defense. And we've come to the second technical timeout. So far, all Brazil. They now lead it 16-10 in the opening set. Some of the early highlights from the opening set. Yeah, I did say highlights, didn't I? And so far, all the two-time defending world champions from Brazil. Teams back out on the court after the second technical timeout. Brazil making sure they want to check their lineup, getting in exactly the right spots. And Vizotto to serve. Cuba trailing 16-10. And that float serve is out of bounds. Just think you should never miss a serve coming out of a technical timeout or a team timeout. But with a 16-10, now 16-11 lead, maybe we'll call off those rules. Now Simon. Where Brazil is passing really well. What a dig down the line by Hernandez. And off the block. Wilfredo Leon just unloading, but what a dig by Fernando Hernandez. Boy, I'd love to see that dig. What a courageous dig by Fernando Hernandez, hanging in against Dante. 16-12. Lucas unloading. Brazil is just passing every ball perfectly. And Cuba's usually a pretty good serving team. It's just that technically, Brazil is better than anybody in the world. Murillo, Dante, Mario, the libero, the best receivers as a combination. Hernandez high off the block and the score. That was a magnificent swing, but look how hard Cuba had to work for a point in possession. Hernandez was not in the first 6 at the World League Finals, but he emerged and moved forward, and other than being a very weak blocker, he is really a good player. That ball is blocked by Cameo, but just out of bounds. Another kill for Lucas Satkamp. Quick combination, no. Vizotto in transition, not yet. Oh, Wilfredo Leon just detonating off the right side. Not bad for someone who just turned 17. Wow. Oh, smart shot by Murillo. Gutierrez with the dig and stuffed straight down. Wilfredo Leon trying to do a little bit too much by himself that time. 3 blockers up, and this one just absolutely roofed by Murillo. (19-14) lead. Bruno back to serve. But Cuba looks like they've settled down a little bit. Dante off the top of the block, dug by Leon. Oh, that's a bad mistake. Cuba's got to get a swing at that. Vizotto hanging and off the top of the block. Vizotto has become an offensive workhorse for Brazil. Mentioned he had 24 points in the 4-set semifinal win for Brazil over Italy. Timeout number 2 taken by Cuba. Brazil leading in the opening set, 20-14. This is the 17th FIVB World Championship Final. From the opening serve, Brazil has certainly been getting the better of it. Got out to a 6-2 lead, forced an early timeout from Cuba. Led 16-10 at the second technical timeout. And the second timeout for Cuba was at 20-14. And a good kill off the left side by Joandre Leal. Cuba has a long and distinguished history in the sport of volleyball. Won their first ever medal at the Montreal Olympic Games in 1996. Oh, good block that time, but a lazy cover by Vizotto. Cuba's 13th appearance in the World Championships. And after finishing 3rd in 1998, 4th in 94, and 2nd in 1990, team suffered some massive defections. And in the last 2 World Championships, they finished 15th in 2006 and 19th in 2002. But now with this new generation of players, They are right back in the mix. Ball hit out of bounds by Dante. 3-point run for Cuba, and now it's 2017. Timeout, Brazil, their first. Camejo will continue to serve. Team's back out on the floor after the Brazilian timeout, and Murillo responds. Cuba just doesn't look quite together blocking right now, but with good reason. Brazil is passing so well that they're just confusing the Cuban block and getting a lot of one-on-one and split block situations. Simone with the kill out of the middle. Mario there, the libero for Brazil in the black jersey. Watch on the left side. Mario there, but not really there. Hernandez now serving for Cuba. And an ace serve off of Mario. Mario probably feeling a lot of pressure, filling in for Sergio, the injured best libero in the entire world. So if Brazil were not to be successful, people would certainly point to him and point to that. Look at Cuba. Yes, they have settled down right back in this opening set. Now it's 21-19. Bernardinho trying to be a very calming influence in that particular huddle. Boy, Brazil was completely in control of this opening set. Big lead, 6-2, 16-10. Now it's just 21-19. And that ball served out of bounds. Good timeout by Bernardinho. Left side blocked. Cuba hustling, keeping it alive. And a lift is called. Wow. On the first contact, you can do just about anything. But on the second and third contacts, it has to be clean. Let's take a look. That's good there. Yeah, open hand. That was a good call. The whistle was on the second contact, not on the third. That was an angry swing. Andre Leal taking out a little frustration on that volleyball. Good sign for Cuba. They won't win this opening set without a miracle, but they are playing. They're right into this World Championship final. Set points now for Brazil. Double substitution coming on. Marlon wearing number 17. Bruno is out. Visotto is out. Tiao is in the left front. Give Brazil a little more offensive punch. Set point. And that ball blocked out of bounds. Good kill once again by Leon. Leon had 23 points in the 5-set win over Serbia in the semifinals, 19 of 31. Set point number 2 for Brazil. A little confusion. but not for Yarasuelo. There's that left hand again. You can't teach tall and you can't teach left or right. Well, maybe you can, but I'll tell you, if you're a left-handed setter, it's a big advantage. Both teams are out of timeouts. And yes, Robert Landi Simon can spin a volleyball on his finger better than anybody in the history of the game. Set point number 3. Tiao through the block, and that'll do it. So Brazil with a big lead. Cuba looked very, very nervous to start this championship match, but got right back into it, did a very solid job. And although Cuba lost that opening set 25-22, I think they're feeling pretty good. And right into this match, we'll have the second set for you from Palalottematica in Rome. This is the 2010 FIVB World Championships.
Timeout Cuba. Then they got it back to 21-19. So we got a match now. Cuba's playing. And you're covered. Okay, Sophie, the whole letdown. Indispensable. Okay. You know what she said? I know. She said, I know.
A very ambitious undertaking, was it, for the World Championship Organizing Committee here in Italy. Took this tournament, or certainly parts of it, through the first, second, and third rounds and into the finals to 10 different Italian cities, from the very north to the very south. And what an undertaking from a logistics and organizational and manpower point of view. And we've come to the Final Four. If you're just joining us and didn't watch the bronze medal match, Serbia, in Nikola Grbić's final appearance for the Serbian national team, his 318th match, he has finally called it a career, winning the bronze medal here in Rome, defeating Italy 3-1. Teams back out on the floor now for the start of the second set. There's backup setter Marlon, and there is Giba, the reigning World Championship MVP. It took a ruptured Achilles tendon to finally get Bernardino to sit down. Cuba will start. Osmani Camejo, same lineups for both teams, and nice little cut shot, wrist away that time by Rodriguez. A little bit lucky, but effective all the same. Murillo, Rodriguez, Vizotto have played in Italy for years and years and years, so they're very, very famous here in their second home of Italy. Leal over the top of the block. That ball's hit out of bounds. But all of the Brazilians now, there's been a huge infusion of cash and sponsorship in Brazil. So now every one of the Brazilian players, except for one, Tiao, who plays in Japan, they all play back in Brazil. A real luxury. And also, they didn't have to take a pay cut. A lift is called against Raidel Yarasuelo. And so once again, a very quick start for Brazil. Remember, they led 6-2, forcing an early timeout by Cuban head coach Orlando Samuels. Hernandez hits that ball cross court but out of bounds. And now it is 4-0. You just can't dig yourself holes like this against the best team in the world. That ball is way out. Can't do it. Hernandez ripping that ball down the line. See, when Cuba passes the ball well, they're as dangerous offensively as any team in the world. But Brazil is such a good serving team that they rarely get that luxury, does Raidel Yarasuelo, of having lots of choices. Dante into the block and out of bounds. So far, everything a struggle for Cuba. Nothing coming easily, and that's how you would expect when you're playing against a team with the experience and caliber of athletes and volleyball players, technically and tactically, as Brazil. Pipe combination is stuffed. What a play by Visotto. Wow, that looked like it was open. That's just preparation and good team coordination. Look at Visotto. He's the right side blocker, but yet aware of what Cuba wants to do in that rotation. So was in there tight to help. Visotto, smart play, just keeping the ball in bounds. And Leal high off the top, Murillo with the dig. Pipe combination and getting it done. Good communication and smart choice by Bruno Rezende, the setter for Brazil. 7-1 lead now. And Orlando Samuels choosing not to burn a timeout. A setter change coming on. Yoandri Diaz replacing Raidel Yarasuelo. And I thought Yarasuelo overall was the best Cuban player on the floor in the semifinal win over Serbia. This is not a good sign for the Cubans. Dante over the top of the block, no. And no touch detected, no touch called. Dante doing a little begging. See, Dante doesn't like to hit high balls. That's not his meat. Bernardino yet enjoying another big volleyball match. You just have to love your work. Left side, and Dante sprays that ball out of bounds. "10 years, Bernardino has won virtually everything. Going for their third straight world championship. Only one other team has done that. That was Italy. They won world titles in 90, 94, and 98. Second set, first technical timeout, all Brazil leading 8-3.
Fucking hard, isn't he, the camera guy there? During timeout. See, when you're in the union, that's what you do.
as it was in the opening set. All Brazil so far here in the second. Really thought that Cuba had shaken off the nerves of youth in that opening set. They trailed 20-14, came all the way back to 21-19, and looked like that they were loose and ready to go. But Brazil just came out and put the hammer down to start this second set. Bisotto. Simone all alone, a blocking mistake that time for Brazil. Well, that ball is, that ball was going out of bounds. What is Cuba doing? And they're going to make a play anyway. That ball was headed straight out of bounds. Joandre Diaz with an absolute brain cramp. Well, Orlando Samuels has seen it all, but he wouldn't like to see a repeat of that. Dante, a little change of pace. What a play defensively. That was also Diaz making up for the previous error. Chance for Cuba to get some momentum. Leal, not yet. Bisotto shooting that ball off the block and out of bounds. Smartly done. That's just an excellent play by Bisotto. Brazil now leading 9-5. Quick play out of the middle. Mario was there, but could not slow Osmani Camejo. Mario has played very well throughout the course of this tournament. And again, under a lot of pressure and the spotlight, filling in for none other than Sergio. Bisotto ripping that ball down the line. Kyber Gutierrez, number 6 in red. The libero for Cuba, trying to influence that call. Another look, one-on-one, right on the sideline. Unforced error. Wow, Cuba has gone right back to the way they were playing to start this match when they were slow, right out of the box. Timeout taken by Orlando Samuels. Ball's intended for Camejo, but that just is not there. So timeout taken by Cuba, trailing here in the second set, 11-6 after dropping the first, 25-22. Pretty subdued situation so far, and why not? Brazil is dominating. Has not been that competitive, and Cuba is not playing at the same level. Remember, they had to beat Bulgaria to get to the Final Four. They did that 3-2. They had to beat Serbia to get into this championship match in the semifinals. They also did that, winning 3-2. But as they say, Brazil is a different cup of tea. Wilfredo Leon with a kill off the right side, much needed. But Cuba just has to play. That's what their coach told me before the match started. We just have to play. Pass, play defense, run our offense, serve well. Serve well, how about serve in the court? 12-7 advantage. This is a rout so far. Dante, beautiful dig by Gutierrez. Oh, that is a great set. And that ball off the block and out of bounds. What a play that time by Joandri Diaz, the setter for Cuba. And that is the biggest piece of metal I've ever seen anybody wear in the course of an international volleyball match. That is one big chunk. It's probably heavy enough he can't jump as high as he would be ordinarily. Vizotto tucking that ball down inside the block. Brazil leading comfortably and so far making it look pretty easy. Cuba played better in the latter stages of that opening set, but just not the level of consistency so far. Simone, Gutierrez is there. For the third time off the block. Nicely done by Joandri Leal. The Cubans, again, the youngest team in the entire World Championships, let alone in the Final Four, at 22 and a half years of age. So patience is wasted not on the young, let's put it that way. That ball served out of bounds. But Cuba has to go against what would be their normal thought process. They have got to be patient and just keep playing. Rodriguez now serving for Brazil. Not a good set. That ball well off the net. Vizotto cross court, but out of bounds. Still a comfortable lead for Brazil. This was a well-designed play. Vizotto had all kinds of room, but he just missed it by over a meter. Cuba trails 14-10 and 1-0. Make it 15-10 on the missed serve by Leal. Vizotto now for Brazil. Pretty good bump set. Smart shot by Leon, just keeping the ball in play. And Bruno on that very, very painful foot and ankle, able to tip that ball to the floor. On the second contact, the teams will head to the sideline for the second technical timeout of this second set. Brazil all over Cuba, leading 16-10.
We'll get back to your hotel in time to do some drinking. Yeah. I can't believe they don't have a party. I spoke to Rich and he said, well, there'll be a bar, you know, so you just get yourself to our hotel and I'll be along later on. And then, you know, you and Flavia can make it back to your hotel. We're clearly bonded. We're tight. We're really tight. That's what she said.
Teams back out on the floor, all Brazil so far. The gold medal match of the 2010 FIVB World Championships. I'm Paul Sunderland on hand. Been quite a tournament so far. We'll give you all of the results right through down to the final finishes. Serbia earlier this evening here at Palalotomatica beat Italy 3-1 to take home the bronze. Russia finished 5th, the United States 6th. Bulgaria finished 7th and Germany finished 8th. We'll give you that entire list later on. Some other teams made some very, very good impressions, including Cameroon and Iran. And that's going to be a 3-meter line violation. This is getting out of hand. Brazil leading 18-10. This is a rout so far. Leon hitting that ball off of Dante. Rolando Cepeda on the floor now, playing in place of Fernando Hernandez. Brazil leading 18-11. 1-0. And Cuba so far, no answers. But nobody else has shown any answers either over the last many years. The two-time defending world champions are the South Americans. And only one other country in history since the tournament began in 1949 has won 3 in a row. And that was Italy. 1990, 1994, 1998. Leon over the top of the block. No touch detected. Another unforced error. Wow. Cuba is playing very poorly. Yes, Brazil is cruising, but I'll tell you, Cuba is playing way below the level that they showed previously in this match, particularly against Bulgaria and then against Serbia. Timeout taken by Cuba, trailing 1-0 and 20-11. Brazilian fans starting to celebrate, and with good reason. They have dominated this match so far. That ball off the top of the block by Camejo. But still a huge, comfortable lead. Brazil won the opening set. They got out to a quick start, 6-2. Didn't necessarily cruise from there as Cuba started to get its act together. And then here in the second set, Brazil came out, got out to a 4-0 lead. Combination, Leal unloading, but a 3-meter line violation. Another violation called against Cuba, and rightfully so. You have to be completely, easy play to call. Leal's entire front foot, his left foot, was way over the line. Served out by Lucas Satkamp. But the lead is 21-13, so the second set certainly gone, and so you have to start thinking ahead. What in the world can Cuba do? They have to hope that Brazil takes a bit of a rest. Leon with a missed serve once again. Nothing going right for Cuba. Boy, thinking way ahead. It's been quite some time since there's been a 3-0 sweep in the finals of the World Championships. Joandre Leal down the line. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself, but we might as well set the stage. Dig, but out of bounds. (23-14). See, Cuba runs a pipe combination, and they're called for the 3-meter line violation. Brazil runs the pipe combination, and it's an easy score. Murillo. Stuff block one-on-one by Dante. And it's a set point and a bushel basket full. 10-point lead for Brazil. And so far, all the questions have been answered about Bruno's foot. No ill effects so far. But then, of course, Cuba has done nothing to put any pressure on Brazil. Visotto, and that'll do it. That was just a beatdown. Brazil wins the second set, 25-14, and now is just one set away from their third straight World Championship. And so far through the first two sets, Brazil has outscored Cuba 50-36. So far, Brazil is dominating. Brazilian fans can get ahead of themselves, but not the players. There may be 25 minutes from putting their names right next to Italy in the record books with 3 straight world titles. It's been complete and sheer, utter domination so far. Look at the passing numbers. Brazil dominating defensively. Visotto, one of the leading attackers so far in this entire tournament, and continues to do so. We gave you his numbers. Visotto with 24 points in 4 pretty easy sets, if you will, in both directions, as Brazil defeated Italy in the semifinals last night. Well, if Cuba has any chance of winning a set and getting back into this match, they need to get off to a good start. 2 terrible starts in the first and second set. And that ball blocked out of bounds. And Cuba is on the scoreboard first, but it took them a while to get there, the beginning of the third set. Wilfredo Leon, I know it's expecting an awful lot of a 17-year-old, but one of the best serve. Look at that, a float serve. And Visotto absolutely crushing that ball way inside the 3-meter line. That was beautifully done, and a nice delivery by Bruno. Look at that. Leon responding down the line. Second setter still on the floor now. Yoandri Diaz wearing number 18 in blue for Cuba. And Rolando Cepeda in at the opposite as well. So a couple of changes to the Cuban lineup. It certainly couldn't stay the same. Oh, Brazil is just passing so well. Dante, ball kept alive. Vizotto over the top. Cuba playing some good defense. Dante, smartly done. Two very good plays off the block deflection. But a call is going to be made. A throw is going to be called against Dante. This was close. That's kind of a slam dunk. There you see one of the crutches keeping Bernardinho on the sideline. And Cuba's leading 3-1. Dante responding off the left side. With Vizotto with 12 points already. Halfway to matching his total last night, and it's been two very quick sets. Crushed by Leon. Well, you know what they've done? Cuba has moved Wilfredo Leon into the opposite position, and they have got Henry Bell, number 12, playing in a wing spiker position, along with Joandri Leal. So major changes to the Cuban lineup. Ball served out of bounds by Simon. And Dante will go back for Brazil. Good block out of the middle. Cuba with another chance. Bell off the top. Dante in good position. And Lucas crushing that ball down the line. Very nice set that time, delivered by Bruno. Combination, Joandri Leal, but yet another 3-meter line violation. This has happened now on 3 separate occasions, taking away a point from Cuba and tied at 5. So their early 3-1 advantage and their very good start once again has disappeared. Tied at 5, Lucas once again. And nice play by Rodrigal. Cuba basically stopped. Thought that there was a little bit of a collision under the net, but it was incidental contact. Murillo went down. We'll see if he's okay. Murillo rolled his ankle. They landed on Wilfredo Leon. Already an ankle and foot injury to Bruno, the number 1 setter. So, can Giba be ready to come in? The former most valuable player in the World Championships and the Olympic Games. Murillo walking reasonably comfortably and testing that left ankle. Well, that could have been very dangerous. Most of the injuries in volleyball occur exactly that way. Under the net, an ankle sprain. Vizotto sprained his ankle in the World League Finals, missed the championship match. Brazil won anyway against Russia. Visotto just on the back line, but overruled Umut Sokolu with the call. Again, Mr. Sokolu, the head referee from Turkey, his 305th and final match. Oh, crushed down the line that time by who else? Wilfredo Leon. Playing completely, I don't want to say out of position. Well, now it has lessened his responsibilities. He can just unload on the ball now, playing at the opposite or diagonal. It's a very smart change to the lineup by Orlando Samuels. That ball off the block and out of bounds, so give the score to a rather gimpy Murillo, and we have come to the first technical timeout of possibly the last set of these 2010 FIVB World Championships, with Brazil leading 8-7. There's Marko Podraščanin, part of the Serbian team that has accomplished a great feat, winning the bronze medal here at the FIVB World Championships, defeating Italy 3-1 earlier this evening. Teams back out on the court. All Brazil so far. Won the opening set 25-22, and it wasn't that close. And then absolutely demolished Cuba 25-14 in the second. Leal once again. Wilfredo Leon is putting on a show. Remember, he just turned 17 in July. They should set him every time. Dante tucking that ball down inside Yoandri Diaz. Good choice that time by Bruno. Oh, beautiful shot into the deep cross-court corner. That ball went right through the wickets. Watch Lucas. Wasn't over the top. It went right through his arms. Bernardinho couldn't believe it. He was looking out at Lucas. Lucas said, hey, I've only got two hands. That one went right off the top of my head. Brazil now with a lead once again, 10-9 after Cuba got off to an unusually quick start of this championship match. They led 3-1 to start this third set. They had fallen so far behind in the first two sets. It was just too big a mountain to climb, especially against a team like Brazil. Oh, that is just a rip cross court by Henry Bell. Boy, Cuba is missing too many serves. Service pressure over a long period of time, but you can't serve easy. Brazil is just too very good with their reception with Dante, Murillo, and Mario. Wow. That's a careless error by Dante. But Brazil just has a much larger margin for error because they receive serves so well. They're successful at such a higher percentage of time with their reception points. Vizotto getting the job done. Vizotto continues to be so effective. Left side over the top of the block, Leon once again. This kid is unstoppable. Just think how good he's going to be when he turns 18. Amazing. Tipped down by Bruno, but that's bad defense by Cuba. They should be ready for that. You've got to know that Bruno's in the front court, and then you have to be aware when he likes to do this. That's just bad positioning that time by Yoandre Diaz. Got to be much closer to the sideline. Diaz, number 18 in blue. Murillo taps that ball down. Orlando Samuel's got to be thinking about a timeout. I know it's only a 2-point lead for Brazil, but Cuba is slipping once again. That's out of bounds. So now it is 15-12. And timeout is taken by Cuba. After a good start, Cuba has fallen back into their old ways, hitting balls out of bounds, not receiving consistently. And Brazil is just so disciplined. They don't make mistakes. They're in the right spots all the time. 15-12 lead for Brazil. Timeout, Cuba. Bruno back to serve. Brazil now on top and well on their way. So look at the difference. Everything a struggle right now for Cuba. Leon over the top of the block, but out of bounds. And that will get Brazil and Cuba to the sideline for the second technical timeout. And now Brazil's lead is starting to stretch. They lead 16-12 at the second TTO. I don't know. He'll be back. He'll be back. Jiba still so very active as the leader of this team. Not a lot of athletes, when their role is diminished like that, do they still stay very positive, but that just shows you how important the team is to Jiba as opposed to what may happen for him personally. Bruno back to serve, playing through a very, very painful foot and ankle. Nice play coming out of the timeout. Camejo with the easy kill. But now the question is, can Cuba score some points when they're serving? They blocked 17 balls against Serbia. They've done little, if any, blocking so far tonight against Brazil. Vizotto ripping through the block once again. You see what Cuba is doing, a real change in strategy. They're just serving the ball in the court right now. They're not even trying to score because their serving has been so poor throughout the course of this championship match. Simone, look at the dig by Mario. Leon, smart shot down the line off of Visotto. Wilfredo Leon back to serve. Brazil leading 17-14, up 2-0. Visotto again, 18-14. No answer whatsoever for Visotto. What a brilliant job by Bruno. Chance for 19, and there it is. Lucas and Bruno have gotten so good at that particular play in transition. Brazil now just 6 points away and making it look easy. They're making it look easy because they're that good, and unfortunately, Cuba has been that bad so far in this championship. Leon ripping down the line once again. When I say the championship, I mean this gold medal game, because Cuba has been tremendous so far throughout the course of this entire tournament. Their only loss was to Serbia in the second round, which they avenged last night in the semifinals. Visotto again. Visotto really making his case for the most valuable player award. Double substitution coming on. Re-strengthen the offense for Bernardinho. See him there with his back to you along the sideline. Marlon, if you're just joining us, diagnosed with ulcerative colitis during the course of these World Championships, lost 5 kilos. And there was some real concern about his overall and general welfare. And then more so as a volleyball player, because Bruno injured his foot last night. Bell crushing cross court. Cuba still with some time. Trailing 20-16, but they need a little bit of a run. They need at least a 2, hopefully a 3-point run if you're for Cuba. Oh, maybe there. Look at that, ball off the top of the tape, and Mario was bailing out. And a timeout is taken by Bernardinho. He's not taking any chances. Bernardinho getting on Mario a little bit during the course of that timeout for not reacting, and Giba stepping in along with Rodriguez being a little bit of a shield. Mario knows how much pressure he's under. In a country like Brazil, well, everybody knows what's going on with respect to this unbelievable volleyball team. They know that Mario is filling in for Sergio, and so far doing an outstanding job. Cuba setting mistake, and they get a stuff block. And they're going to unwind the double substitution right now. So mentioned that Cuba needed at least a 2-point run. That's what they have right now. A 2-point run as the ball continues to spin. But the question is, can you dial up an ace? Brazil now leading 20-18. Oh, look at that. Maybe spend less time practicing spinning the ball and more time practicing your serving. That might have been the final opportunity for Cuba. If they don't score with their offense here, this world championship has been decided. Leon once again. Wilfredo Leon has just been spectacular. Just unstoppable and spectacular. He's going to be the best attacker in the world for years to come. Visotto responds. And Brazil now can see the finish line. Only 3 points away. Oh, what a block by Rodriguez. 23-19, 2 points away. Lucas to serve once again. 1 point away, another block by Murillo and Rodriguez. Brazil is going to win their 3rd straight World Championship, tying Italy as the only nation ever to accomplish that feat. Championship point. And not to be outdone, Wilfredo Leon off the block and out of bounds, registering another kill. But for Brazil, championship point number 2, they're leading 24-20. Fernando Hernandez, a good server, but has been on the sideline for quite some time. And do you go for it, or do you keep this ball in? For the World Championship, no. One-on-one stuff block by Joandri Leal. Championship point number 3, but before we get to that, it will be a timeout, Brazil. Brazil with another World Championship point. Fernando Hernandez did a great job the play before serving. Can he do it again? To Murillo. Out of bounds. 24-22. On a good pass, if I'm Bruno, I go to Rodriguez. Eliminate some of the thinking and just go quickly to the middle. Championship point once again. Great serving by Hernandez. Visotto, and there it is. Brazil are the world champions once again.